Hello, once again, Star Wars and Unboxing fans. Welcome to another episode of Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing Show. I'm your host, Darth Tuba, and believe it or not, this is, in fact, what I will be calling my final Triple Force Friday video. And the Triple Force Friday, in this case, was pretty much all items that were ordered on Triple Force Friday. Yes, not all shopping took place in the stores like Walmart and Target and the Disney Store, although quite a bit did, as you saw in previous episodes. First of all, welcome also to all of our new subscribers. I hope you guys enjoy the content that we put out. It's mainly Star Wars unboxings with a few other things thrown in from time to time. And with Triple Force Friday coming and a new TV series, The Mandalorian, and a new movie, Rise of Skywalker, and Galaxy's Edge in Disney World, and who knows what else is coming. I mean, we've had announcements, and every week seems like a new announcement. So really exciting time to be a Star Wars fan, and I'm just here to spread the positivity, particularly in the areas of collecting, and which I think there's still an abundance of product out there, and I do not collect it all, believe it or not, but I do try my best to pick out the things that I really like and really enjoy and do some unboxing with them, okay? So as you can see here, we have a huge pile, along with a few other items here kind of tucked in the side, which I'll get to. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of slide this over this way, okay, just so I have a little bit of room. Okay, and I'll just kind of work my way down the pile here, okay? So now I will warn you, some of these are vintage items, meaning the vintage collection, and for those who have watched this channel, I do not open those. I will unbox them out of the containers that they came mailed to me, but otherwise I will not. Now I will say, for the most part, I am reasonably certain that all of these figures, all of these product are related to Star Wars. But we have a life here at the Darth Tuba studio outside of unboxing Star Wars toys. So I might open up and say, oh look, this is a picture frame that I ordered or something of that nature, and if that happens, I apologize. But I did pre-open one box from Amazon because I was expecting two things on the same day, and this is in fact one of the ones that is Star Wars related, so we'll get to it in a moment. But let's start with this one. A lot of these items are things that were ordered from stores, and some of these are actually not, in terms of product release, they're not related to Triple Force Friday. I just decided to continue the ordering frenzy just because I was in the mode, so to speak. All right, what do we have? This is actually from an eBay seller, and I believe it is one of our vintage collection items, but this is actually the VC-134 Princess Leia in Bouche or Bouche. I've heard it in an audiobook called Bouche, so I'm going to say Bouche. Bouche disguise, okay? And I do want to point out one thing that was very interesting, that it seems that they have kind of taken a break from the 5-point articulation figures. They were doing that for a while, and now it seems that they have kind of taken a break. This is from an earlier release in the summer, I believe, okay? It's been hard to find, so I've had to resort to eBay to find them, but it didn't go, it wasn't incredibly more expensive or anything. It was probably just a few dollars more, so it was fine. So you can find a lot of these if you just do eBay. If you search on eBay VC and the number and just put Star Wars next to it, you'll probably get the figures you're looking for. Some of these have been re-released, but I do like to have one set of carded figures. I just love the carded design. It's so funny. As an unboxing channel, you would think that I'm all about unboxing, but that's not totally true. I do enjoy the vintage card look. I do enjoy the vintage card boxes. You can see my backdrop on the bottom here. I have a lot of my old boxes kind of put together. I just enjoy the look of both. I just don't like a toy sitting inside of its box if I can avoid it. But an action figure that's clearly visible in a nice little container doesn't bother me too much. All right, so we're going to keep this person. We're going to keep Leia in her, in her box, and we'll go on from there. All right. Let's change gears here. We'll go to this one, which is already open. And this, I believe, came from Amazon. And it was part of that carbonized graphite special release. And I'll get some close-up photos of these as well. This is the Sith Trooper. This was released in 3 ways. It was released as a regular release, It was, and through all stores, it was released on a first day release or a first issue release in a white box. And then they had these carbonized graphite, which is basically like almost a metallized look to all of the figures. Not all of them. They did it with 4. And Amazon did 1. I think Target did 1. GameStop did 1. And Walmart, I think, did the other one. So I managed to acquire 3 of them. So this is the Sith Trooper. I think I've also have the Mandalorian, and I also have the second sister, or 6th sister, 7th sister. I forget, one of the sisters from the Jedi Fallen Order one. So again, I get a close up there, but that's a really cool one. Again, for the time being, sometimes I do keep them in the boxes just because I do like the displayability of it like this. But eventually, maybe I will take them out. All right, moving on. We have Fragili. That must be Italian. From Entertainment Earth. There was, and I think I know which one this is. There was one figure that I wasn't able to acquire, one of the vintage collection figures that came out on Triple Force Friday, that I was not able to find. Yep, this is it. All right, and that is this one. The Knight of Ren. The Knight of Ren action figure. Seems like if there's one that can be defined as the popular one, I mean, it's so funny. Like every year, there was, with every midnight release, there was always that one hard figure to get, or the one that everybody grabbed. Like I remember for episode 1, it was Darth Maul. It was really hard, unless, and that's saying something for episode 1, for kiddies, because I gotta tell you right now, episode 1, Midnight Madness, was absolute madness in the sense that the amount of product that they released was absolutely insane. There was aisles, and I mean plural, full-length aisles, multiple aisles filled with stuff. And beyond that, there were boxes and boxes and boxes of figures. Yet, it was hard for everyone to acquire the Darth Maul figure. That was one I think's up the top of my head. But this one seemed to be a little bit more of a challenge. Although I have to say, like by the next day, I ordered it on Force Friday in the evening. By the next day, I did notice it in the store. So, you know, I guess I didn't have to. But paid the same price for it pretty much. Free shipping. So it was good. Now, another interesting thing that I noticed is that unlike The Force Awakens or Rogue One or The Last Jedi or Solo: A Star Wars Story, Disney has opted not to have a separated Rise of Skywalker packaging. I feel as though that is very calculated. I don't have any sources to know. This is just my own, I guess you could say my own theory. And that is that I think that what they are trying to do, well, first of all, again, as I said earlier, they don't have the 5-point articulation anymore. They've done away with that for who knows how long. But the other thing I would say is that these, I think that with the Rise of Skywalker, they've really been marketing it as the end of the saga. And I think they're just trying to tie everything together. And what better way to do that than instead of having a dedicated packaging, to bring it back to the vintage days. And a lot of the vintage packaging, a lot of the packaging for anything to do with Rise of Skywalker is adopting this style, which honestly, I'm mixed about. I think the nostalgic part of me feels great about it. The collector part of me wishes that we had I have some episode 1 packaging, episode 2, episode 3, episode 7, episode 8, episode 9. Okay, so I kind of wish that we just had one more, but I'm not that disappointed. I'm only slightly disappointed because in the original trilogy, episodes 4, 5, 6, which were the original 3, which is weird numbers, I know, but they actually just did everything in the vintage style. So maybe that's what Disney and Hasbro and Lucasfilm are going for this time around. In which case, hey, just as long as you have some product being delivered and being sent out for it related to the movie, I'm all for it. So. Just a slight bit of disappointment over the lack of package design related to Rise of Skywalker, but loving the vintage, so it's okay. All right, put that there, and let's continue on. And what do we got here? All right, so this is another eBay sale, and I'm hoping I don't have. That was embarrassing. But you know what? It's okay. Ooh, let's see. Nope. We are still in the not Triple Force Friday release, but we've got a Rogue One Scarif Stormtrooper VC-133. Okay, and again, I'll get some close-ups there. And that wasn't it. This person also got me. Oh, sad to say, this one looks like the glue on the package was bad. So I will repair that. Yak Face Salt Murray, or as I call him, Yak Face. Unfortunately, this came back with looseness on the package. So I will work on gluing that. Maybe I'll put it in a protector. And lastly, but not leastly, oh, by the way, Yak Face, as I call it, VC-132. And lastly, VC-135. And that is Klaatu Skiff Guard. Okay. So these are also some new figures that had come out. Pretty cool. And again, these came out earlier in the year, but I wasn't able to find them in stores. So I will add them to our vintage line. I'm sorry to see that that poor Yak Face did not make it through the card. It's interesting. If anybody has any, if anybody give me any comments, and leave a comment in the section about ways that one can repair a carded figure, getting it back on. Is there a special kind of glue you use? If you know where to find them, I've never had to repair a figure like this, so I would be interested in hearing your comments. All right, so thank you so much. We'll lay him down over here. Let's continue on. You can tell by the shape of the box that we're continuing our carded figure thing. So everybody see the trailer. If everybody, leave some comments about your thoughts on the trailer. I was real excited. I was all the feels regarding what's going to happen next, what's going to happen with 3PO. What's going to happen with Chewie? I'm also a little nervous about that. When I see 3PO, there's all this imagery of Chewie's bandolier strap, but no Chewie, so I'm a little concerned about that. But we shall see. All right, back to another older vintage figure. Not older this year. Not released on Triple Force Friday, and that is from The Last Jedi, the Elite Praetorian Guard, number VC-138. Okay, some pretty cool setup there. I always loved this figure. I always loved that scene. Favorite scene of the movie in terms of action was the saber duel with Kylo and Rey teaming up against the Praetorian Guards. I do kind of wish they would make a battle pack with all 6 of them. I would definitely purchase that, even in just for a diorama use alone. So pretty cool. All right, so it's so funny. Like, I will promise you that there will be actually some serious toy unboxing in this video. Okay, so just be patient. Okay, I think we have another one. I think we will see. Maybe not. Maybe yes. Maybe no. This one is a box inside of another box. Okay. I'll put that box in a bigger box, and I'll mail that box to myself. Leave a comment as to what movie that's from. All right. And yep, I think we're. Wow, this person. I mean, I appreciate it. I appreciate the. I know when you're dealing with cards, it's a challenge, and you don't want to damage it. But I do also feel that, from an eBay, unless you know somebody who does packaging for a living, that was a lot of money to pay for packaging. And guess what? The figure was still dented at the bottom. Okay. Oh, what can you do? VC-122, again from The Last Jedi. This is Rey Island Journey. Okay. And again, these are just clearing. If you go back a few episodes, you'll see that I kind of set up kind of a line of where I can actually hang some of my figures from the rafters in my basement area, and I have it lit so you can see them. And I noticed making that video that, wow, there's a whole slew of VC Vintage Collection figures that I haven't acquired yet. And you lose track sometimes, life gets in the way. So then I realized, this is what I want to kind of try to track down. So I was able to find them mostly on eBay, and we're in good shape with that. So Last Jedi VC 122. Okay, so these will all get filed in. All right. So before we get to our big reveal here, let's take a look at some of these. We have some new Hot Wheels vehicles. I think these are all essentially just miniature ships, kind of like the titanium vehicle ships, which I do collect. I have not unboxed most of them. I've kept them pretty much all in their containers. They were in these, like, this is back in like the 2000 to early 2010s. They were kind of like this, almost like this oblong kind of shape, and I kind of liked them, so I kept them in the package. I might be looking at opening them up. I'm just trying to figure out, if I do open them up, I want to figure out a way that I can display them all in one area, like some kind of put them on a shelf or something. But there's a lot of them, so we'll have to wait and see. These guys I haven't had a problem opening up. So we have the Rise of Skywalker First Order Tread Speeder, okay, and we also have from the Mandalorian the AT-ST Raider. We have again from Rise of Skywalker the Resistance A-Wing Fighter, and again from, well, this one I think is just one that they brought out. It's actually from The Last Jedi. It's the AT-ST that was powered by BB-8. When the whole roof got ripped off and you only saw BB-8 running it. So we'll get all of these guys open real quick. I'm really loving the fact that that they continue these. I mean, I don't know. I've always had I call it the vintage in me, but I always felt like it's so cool. Just making sure that I'm not missing a piece here. Is this everything? I think it's everything. It's so cool that they have a. Oh, this is weird. This looks like it's just. I guess it's because it's down low. Let me just make sure it's supposed to fit the right way. There we go. Yeah. All right, and again, I'll get a close-up of this. Okay. But it's really cool that they have the little stands with it and everything. Yeah, it's all in all just a real nice addition. And ever since the die-cast vehicles came out in the 70s, I've always had an appreciation for having the die-cast vehicles included as part of your collection if you want. Now, that's going to be interesting. This is the AT-ST. It's really just like a standard AT-ST, but it's kind of doctored up a little bit. It has a paint job on it, and interestingly enough, it just includes a little stand. It doesn't really have any connection to it. You just put it on there, which is kind of weird. Okay, I'm glad you have a little stand with it, maybe to keep continuity with all the other stands, but I feel Hasbro, or really Hot Wheels, that it does have like holes in the feet. I think it would have made sense to put holes in the feet on the stand so it would stay, but I guess AT-ST is one of the only complaints I have about these, is that whether they're big size for figures or model size, they don't always stay. But this looks like it's balanced its weight accordingly. I've put it 3 times on there and it hasn't fallen yet. So kudos to Hasbro and to Hot Wheels on that. All right, moving on to the A-Wing. That's my biggest thing about this. There's a lot of throwback, and with that trailer, there's definitely a nostalgic feel, specifically towards Return of the Jedi. I am amazed at how much of that I'm really seeing. It's crazy, and that's fine with me, because Return of the Jedi is probably my favorite Star Wars movie, my Star Wars original trilogy movie. All right, nice green A-Wing, nice. Okay, these stands don't really do much. They don't give you any flexibility or anything, so that's a little down. But I do like it's got the little Rebel, or I guess you could say Resistance, insignia on it. And then lastly, another AT-ST. Let's see how well this one holds up. This is actually technically the First Order AT-ST, but with a little BB-8 piloting it. Very cool. And again, same idea. It just has, I like it. He has a little BB-8 there, running it, and yep, he stands too. So good. I wish that they would be. I guess it's more like when I have stands with figures, I like them to connect. Simply because, especially as a loose collector, like that's what I am. I collect loose figures. It's going to eventually get moved from one place to another, and it's very easy. When you have literally thousands of individual pieces, it's so easy to get them confused. I mean, now we have the internet, so it's easy to look it up and look up images to align which pieces go with which stands, that type of thing. But still, it's a little weird. All right, so I'm going to move these guys down here. Well, maybe I'll tuck these guys in the back here. No, sorry, you need your stand. All right, because I know a lot of people are looking at this big box and saying, "What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?" Leave a comment as to what movie that one's from. And frankly, I'll be honest, confession, I've never seen that other movie. I saw the first one that I mentioned, but not this one. Okay, so one of my listeners kind of gave me a heads up about this and was like, "Are you ordering it?" And I was like, I wasn't going to. I was going to wait until I found it in the store, but then, and I'll say this. When it comes to these Triple Force Fridays, and I've said this in previous episodes, people ask me, all right, well, why don't you just wait? I mean, they're all going to come on clearance eventually. And you know what? That's true. 90% of all the toys that I've just brought out, with the maybe exception of one or two of the figures, they're all going to find their way on clearance, and maybe even find their way to a second-hand retailer like Five Below, and you can get them for a lot less money. But so why do you spend the full price on them? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I want Star Wars to continue to be sold in stores or to continue to be sold online. And if you don't pay full price for stuff, they're not going to make the stuff. They're not going to make the product. Now, there is always a chance that they can do things like they did with Jabba's sail barge, but I also don't want to constantly be buying only $500 or higher high-end items. I'd like to be able to have the option to buy some less expensive ones. So occasionally, I do buy full price on certain things. Other things, I'll wait, pick and choose. Because but when it comes to the toys and the vehicles, I do try to buy them on their first release. And that's the way it is. So, we have this. Yes, it's exactly what I was hoping it would be. It is the Rise of Skywalker X-Wing Fighter. Poe Dameron's X-Wing Fighter. New sculpt, new paint scheme. Unbelievable. Look at this. Whoops. And let me get this box out of the way. Got this pile of boxes that I'm going to trip over when I'm done here. All right, look at that. And look, it's got the nice, awesome, old vintage box look. It's got the Rise of Skywalker. And I said on previous episodes, I'm loving that they put Star at the top, Wars at the bottom, and the Rise of Skywalker in the middle. Very similar to Return of the Jedi. I think that's, again, another vibe that they're going for. See, I'll even show you. You can see the difference. You can see them here. Okay, really, really cool stuff. All right, so this one, however, will not stay in the box. Dominoes! My figures just fainted at the notion that I'm going to unbox. But I will say this, folks. Okay, and I've said it on previous episodes. Actually, I'm going to put these guys down like this because I have a feeling that they are going to keep tipping. Again, I'll get some photos of these. Right. I will say this, folks. All these toys are so mass-produced, they're not going to have the value. If you're a collector and you're holding on to these figures, hoping that you can put your kids through college, don't. It's not going to happen. At the most, you'll make, if you're lucky, you maybe make the money back that you sold, that you paid for it. And that's after 20 years, 30 years. And that's only for people who grow nostalgic for this, okay? However, I also recognize that there are some people that just like to collect. It's part of what they like to collect it with the box. I am going to do this. I'm going to keep everything in the box and keep the box like this, just because keep the inserts and everything. And I only really keep the inserts because that way the box can kind of stay more. It actually has a little bit of even without the toy in it, it has a little bit of weight to it, so you can actually add more to it and stuff. So that's what I'm doing with that. Okay, so got my little instructions here. Okay, so not nearly as hard as I thought it was. So probably wasn't that long of a high speed, but what a great vehicle. What a great idea for a vehicle. Okay. The only thing I wasn't able to figure out at the moment was how to expand the wings. If there's unless it used to be, the old days, it was oh wait. Is there like I'm trying to see if there was I don't think this has batteries. Okay, not quite as bad as I thought it was going to be in terms of getting it to be put together. It's an awesome vehicle. It's an awesome sculpt. Definitely some cool, different things about it, like the whole wingspan here. Okay, the only thing I haven't been able to figure out yet is how to actually expand the wings. Does it lock? Oh, there it is. Okay, there it is. I had the wrong button. Okay, so there it is. So there's two buttons on the back here. Okay, the one furthest away from you expands it. There you go. Okay, and then the one closest to you retracts it. But look at how these wings work. I mean, I think this might have been the case on the Force Awakens one as well. But if you expand it, it doesn't go where you think it's going to go. I gotta give props to the designers at Lucasfilm. What a brilliant way to bring back the classic design, but make it more modern. I just think it's a really cool effect. Now, the other cool thing about this is the landing gear. Okay, I'm actually going to close up the landing gear. This one, it essentially, it kind of has almost a Transformer-esque feel to it. Like you basically just close up the feet and turn it and tilt it in. Close up the feet, turn it, and tilt it in. Now, I will say this. With that mechanical sense, it does have a little bit of a challenge because like the side feet do have a tendency they're not really tethered that strongly, so they can pop out, but they're easy to pop back in, so that's not really big of a deal. So again, you can get your little thing like that. Now, there are no sound effects. There's no battery in this, which I kind of like. I think the overabundance of electronics is kind of, well, for one thing, it helps raise the price of it, although this was not too cheap as it was, but just the sculpt of it was really good. Now, what's really neat about it is it's got a versatile little effect here. You can actually take this little part off and fit either an R2 unit in, or if you keep this part in, you can add a BB unit in. So BB-8 or R2 or any R2 series or any BB series can fit in these, and that's good. And they have this double cockpit thing, allowing you to more easily get your action figure in there. Okay, another little plus, a little added extra. Other parts of this that underneath, in addition to the interesting landing gear, you also have this ultimate ladder, which you can actually attach to the side of this when you're playing with. I think with the cockpit open, there should be a place you can do it, or just leaning up against it is fine, and that gives you a little extra play value. So pretty cool. All right, pretty cool setup. I think this is an awesome thing. I like to line up all my X-Wings. Now, the one thing I'm curious about, because of the nature of this, I might suggest when you're displaying it, you can display it any way you want, of course, but I might suggest that you kind of pull a vintage side and just display it like that, only because I think it has a little bit more stability with just the front cockpit. It's hard for me to point that out. I left the bottom two out, and it just kind of rests like that. I think it has a little bit more stability, but you can also do it either way, any way you want. So So really excited about that. Excited about the box, just because it's although I will say my box is a little damaged, but that's all right because I opened it. And I'll kind of stack it down here so you'll have a nice place for it to be on display. So that will do it for this more lengthy edition of Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing Show. Like, subscribe, hit the notification button. Check out all my other videos and playlists, folks. There's lots of different unboxings. We are up to almost 300 videos. So there's lots of different things. Everything from very low-end Hot Wheels car openings to Lego to, of course, Hasbro and Kenner to some more big-ticket items like Sideshow and Hot Toys. Lots of other things that we do, and more coming. This pretty much wraps up our Triple Force Friday because there's more things coming. We got the holidays coming. We got Hallmark coming. We have an upcoming trip to Disney World that we're gonna, and my first trip to Galaxy's Edge we're gonna document. Lots of cool stuff coming up. So make sure you like, subscribe, let other people know about it. Let's get some more subscribers. I want to try to get it to 1,000 subscribers by the end of next month. And the reason I want to do that is so I can start doing some live unboxings with live on the road. I would very much like to do that, and particularly with the Rise of Skywalker coming out, it would be really, really cool. So, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, may the Force be with you.